Let's see where it is, what's going on, what the talk is. Here we go. All right. So, again, reading this from Dark Horizons. Marvel Studios Fantastic Four first steps almost upon us. Marvel Studios chief Kevin Feige is now finally out there doing interviews and in the process of discussing a bunch of stuff about the future of the MCU. Speaking with Variety, he spoke about the overall plan for the company and confirmed there are currently 7 years of plans in place of the MCU, going right through to 2032. For this interview, they had an influencer interview him and asked him what color sneakers he would be wearing for the rest of his life. Oh, no, sorry. The studio is determined not to make the mistakes of Phase 4 and 5 again with pumping out too much content, saying they produced 50 hours of stories between 2007 2019, but in the past 6 years had produced well over 100 hours of stories, and half of the time he said that's too much. It resulted in focus on expansion, which he said led people to say it used to be fun, but now I have to know everything about all these things for the first time ever. Quantity trumped quality. That oversupply, he thinks, is the main reason Marvel has faced the problems it has in recent years. Adding that, look at Superman. It's clearly not superhero fatigue, right? Of the just opened Superman, which is now up to 407 million worldwide at the box office, he says, I liked it a lot. I love you just jump right into it. You don't know who Mr. Terrific is. Tough. You'll figure it out. This is a fully fleshed out world. To get the MCU's mojo back, he confirms the film's output is slowing to just 3 films a year. Slowing? What? Slowing. It's always been 2 or 3. Anyway, while TV will just be a single live action show per year. Okay, that's different. Those shows will also be much more akin to Marvel's 2010 series, namely having far less overlap with the feature film, so it won't be necessary to watch. Example, he cited the events of the final act of Thunderbolts as having no impact on the second season of Daredevil Born Again. He also doesn't want a repeat of this year, where both Ironheart and Wonder Man are being released after sitting on the shelves for years. He says they have no intention of changing their approach to filmmaking with the changes and improvements coming through the process, but they are tightening budgets. He also confirms that the company will reset singular timelines and essentially reboot the MCU following the event of Avengers Secret Wars. However, he's not a fan of that word. Reboot is a scary word. Reboot can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. Reset, singular timeline, we're thinking along those lines. X-Men is where that will happen. He says if Avengers Endgame is about endings, then Avengers Secret Wars is about beginnings. It very much sets us up for the future. All right, Johnny, be honest. What's your problem with this? What's your problem?
Because last I checked, unless Kevin Feige was in a coma for the last 10 years, this was all happening under his watch. This is an amazing amount of distance from something you were fully in charge of. At no point does he take responsibility for the quality, the lack of quality in the stuff. He's right. Nobody cares about superhero fatigue if you make good stuff. And who is there making the stuff, watching it all, supervising it all? Kevin Feige. Okay, so this idea that it's like, well, we realized that it was quality. Nobody would give a crap about quality over quantity if you were making quality products quantitatively throughout the process. So to me, it feels like he's saying, we hear you. We understand where you came from. All things being level, our quality never dipped. It was just that we were giving you too much of the stuff. And then you guys got burnt out on it. That's not what happened at all. They dropped the ball quality-wise. Overall, very mixed reactions to the phases, both on TV and on film. And in the end, this is what he's doing now. Essentially, this is like if you're in a relationship and the person breaks up with you and goes and does all these other things, and then eventually all the stuff falls apart, they run right back to you and like, well, I'll do things like it was before. We're going to do singular timelines. We're only going to do one show, only 2 or 3 movies. We're bringing back RDJ, the Russos. I swear I'll be just like it was before. Come back to me. Just come back to me. We'll do it all over again, and it'll be even better than last time. And so my only problem with this is that he takes no responsibility for any of it. He's just saying, these are the changes we're going to make. And that's a little frustrating to hear from a guy who's in charge of the whole damn thing.
Do you know what I see?
What's that?
I see John Roca's laser focusing away from James Gunn and aiming it at Kevin Feige. Into cloud. It feels like you're breaking the rules, but it's totally legal and better for you than that third cocktail. You work hard. Maybe you deal with life sometimes, but do you still deserve an escape? Absolutely you do. That's where Into Cloud comes in. They got gummies, they have flowers, they have pre-rolls, all federally legal, seriously fun, and just a few clicks away. Whether you're chasing better sleep, deeper intimacy, or just solid daytime relief. This is grown-up cloud chasing done right. So if you're 21 or older, head to indocloud.co. You guys know I'm always on the hunt for new gummies. And so IndoCloud sent me some, and their flavors are incredible. I like it. I like that there's no hangover afterwards. I know there's no sketchy ingredients, just good energy, a solid buzz. And I just felt good. That's the whole thing. So it sounds like a loophole, right? It's not. Science. It's policy. And IndoCloud is using it to deliver one of the oldest medicines known to man in the modern, fun, and absolutely dialed-in way possible. Over 50,000 people are already choosing IndoCloud because feeling good should feel this easy. So if you're 21 or older, now's your chance to float above the stress because IndoCloud is giving all new customers 25% off their first order plus free shipping. Use that code Kristian or click the link in the show notes to claim your discount. That is indocloud.co, indacloud.co. Use that code Kristian for free shipping plus 25% off your first order. Order now. Fill out their quick survey to support the show and enjoy the best part of your week. Brought to you by IndoCloud.
I've told you before, if you do dumb stuff, I am going to call you out on it. You know that.
Yeah, I think that some of this stuff, like, you're still in charge. You got to try to massage it as best you can. But I think that, to be fair to Kevin Feige, I don't really disagree. Like, as much as sometimes I was disagreeing with how harsh you were with Gunn, I don't disagree with a lot of the things you're saying here. However, I do think also you got to remember that they still do work for Disney, right? And
yes,
Chapek was under this.
But this is the misconception. If I think I know where you're going.
Go ahead.
The TV movie stuff started under Iger. Chapek took it over and put put whatever it is in the Fast and the Furious, put the Knox in the car. Mm-hmm. But the stuff was already in the car. Iger was already going to do this. He was going to
do more, but right. But that's also like, okay, if you have a creative idea and then you give it to somebody who has no creative ideas whatsoever, it's like, here's all the stuff I came up with, and then they're like, oh, do more of this. Yeah, we want to do more. Yeah, do more. Can we do 3 seasons? Can we do 3 more shows?
It's fine. I just think Iger escapes blame too much on this. He was part of it.
Okay, let's blame Iger too. Whether it's Iger and Chapek, let's blame them both. Kevin Feige still works for both those guys.
Yes. Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like at that point, he's like, okay, hey, can you do it? And he's like, yeah, I can do it. You sure? Yeah, you do. Maybe you shouldn't have done it. Maybe you should have said, look, you got to give me some breathing room. Or maybe he did say it.
I probably did. Yeah.
Maybe they did. But I think that, what you're saying, which I think is true, is that, all right, well, let's also take some credit in the fact that some of this stuff just wasn't very good. And I do think that I push back with, I think superhero fatigue is very real. I think that it is also what you're saying. You got to make things good and you got to make things interesting for people to want to see. I think the reasons that superhero fatigue is real is because people are way more pickier with what they're going to see in theaters because I think the more so what you're saying about, look, make really good movies, and the Marvel fans will go out and see these things. It's the average fan. It's the average fan that isn't paying attention to this stuff all the time that you lost. And when you lose them, that's when you're going to have disappointing numbers. Because inside that report, they also asked about the Thunderbolts. And they said, hey, Thunderbolts was so well received by the people who saw it and from critics. Like, how do you feel about it? And he's like, I think he's right. He said the title and the characters and people that you had to recognize from shows. I think he called himself out on that one. I think he said,
say, I approved this title and I was a mistake on my end to go with this title. Like, he acts as if he's at one point, he acts like he wasn't there. That's what's crazy to me. He acts like he's analyzing someone else's channel or someone else's show. And it's like, you were there. You approved it. So say the name that we chose was not right. The thing that we did, we thought we had the right strategy. We clearly did, and I take ownership of that.
Yeah.
You and I both respect coaches that take ownership of mistakes that happen, protect their players. Feige's not doing any of that. And he's just acting as if he wasn't there. It's weird.
It's also when you're the head of the company, maybe it's like a don't want to show weakness thing. Maybe it's like he could have even said something like there's some decisions that could be made. And I think that's kind of ultimately what he did. But I push back with people who say it's not superhero fatigue. It's just the quality stuff. It's not. It's a mixture of both. It's a mixture of both because when there's that much of it, when there's that many superhero movies from both DC, Marvel, all of that, your average consumer is going, this is a lot, especially when there's 3 shows, 3 movies from Marvel. 1 or 2 shows from DC, maybe something else coming out from a different brand.
Invincible, yeah,
Tons
right.
of it.
Boys, yeah.
The genre is, it's like, if they're in the same way that it's like if westerns would have popped that way in the way that they did in the
And they
50s.
did, yeah. There was
After a while, people are like, I don't want to see those anymore.
If you go on Pluto TV, they have like 7 channels that are westerns channels, and they'll give you a sample of what it was like to be in the 1950s and living in America in the 1950s. There's literally a crap ton of different western titles. So you're right to make that comparison, Kristian, and western movies that were coming out all around that time, and then eventually it popped, and now it's rare that we get a western show or western movie.
Right.
Yeah.
And when they do, it's like you really got to make sure that they are resonating with people, right?
And I think that's the evolution. Maybe not superhero fatigue, something beyond superhero fatigue. It's an evolution. We've become superhero connoisseurs.
Sure.
Like, you have to bring the quality
right
for us to give a crap about it. And if you don't, we're not going to waste time with it.
100%. And that's for and that is especially true for the hardcore fans,
Yes,
right? 100%. And then like the casuals, you've got to do it right with marketing. Look at Superman. Superman is working with the casuals. There are tons of people going out and see that movie. Now it had a pretty, we'll talk about it in a little bit, but it had a pretty solid week too.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
And it's looking like it's probably going to cross around, I'd say closer to 550, 600, I think, at this point.
It seems like that's where it's headed.
Which is a big win for Warner Brothers overall. And I like the fact that Kevin Feige brought attention to that and talked about that a little more, using it as an example of where I push back a little bit more, where he's like, well, look, people, and I think this is ultimately what you're saying. He's like, look at us. They got superhero fatigue. He's like, no, but they really went different with Superman. They changed it up a little bit. So Fantastic Four has to do that. And from everything, there's more and more people talking about Fantastic Four now, saying how, like, giving you comparisons, the visuals, giving you comparisons like Interstellar. I'm like, really? I mean, that would be a big win for them if they can get, like, every single reaction that, or the people who saw it are talking about visuals. But I'm also confused with this, John.
Okay, go ahead. Break it down.
You and I are both going to see this movie
tonight.
The social embargo, I thought, dropped tonight at like 9 o'clock your time, midnight my time, and yet there's a ton of first reactions out there.
Yeah.
Who saw it? How does that work?
I don't know. That seems odd.
Right.
I think since the reactions are out there, we should be able to drop our reactions after we see it. I'm going to do it. I don't care what that's.
Well, I'm not. Good luck.
I'm not tweeting it out. If Brandon Davis can tweet out his thoughts, or Eric Davis can tweet out his thoughts, I can tweet out my thoughts. It's nonsense. Well, they're not allowed to choose who can speak about the movie or not.
I'm wondering why. Like, because I saw a bunch of it. Our friend of the show, like Ash Crossan, saw it. She posted about it. There were tons of people who posted about it. Someone said they moved it up. Apparently, they moved up the social embargo. Oh, they moved it up to last Friday. Okay, well, there you go.
Oh, there you go.
So there we go. We can go see. So we can post it as soon as we're done tonight.
You'll beat me to it.
Good to know. So that way, I was going to hold the damn thing until midnight tonight. So good.
Stay up.
I love how the audience is the one telling the two idiots that are going to see the movie.
Hey, whatever.
You didn't know.
We got a million things going on.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. All right. Well, they both knew. Everybody in the audience knew. These two more.
I just thought it was odd when you said it today. Like, and I guess I hadn't put my two and two.
I never got an update.
Yeah, I know. I just thought it was odd because you're right. We were seeing reactions from yesterday when I did my show on the channel. I went through some of the first reactions.
Yeah. So, well, the other thing that Feige talks about, this is something that, and I think you and I have discussed this, Paul, myself, and Winston have discussed this years and years and years ago. Yeah. That as soon as this Endgame, Secret Wars is over, they need to just lead with the X-Men and just let that be the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is just be the X-Men, right? And I looked, I have a couple other movies clearly that are doing it, whether it's Fantastic Four or whatever, but it seems like they're going to reboot. Feige was a little hesitant using that word, but what do you make of what is going to happen with this movie? They're planning something huge, obviously.
I think the word culling is absolutely the operative word here. I think people need to be ready for that, because I think they're going to get rid of some characters that you've enjoyed watching that maybe didn't get over overall with the casuals and everybody else. I think they're going to, all those characters, that Hercules, all that stuff they mentioned, Kevin was, if you read between the lines in those answers, they are deciding, like, it's almost like traitors. They're just like ripping them off the board and throwing them on the ground. They are absolutely going to get rid of a lot of these characters that have come through the last few phases. Because when he's talking about a singular timeline, that does not have a space for hundreds of these new characters. They're going to cut a lot of them and either toss them into other universes that they'll maybe revisit down the road, or kill them off, or they stop being heroes, or they just don't even mention them anymore. And I think that's what is going to happen with this. So it's very clear that's what he's doing. So all these actors who had a nice time being a part of the Marvel universe, I think a lot of them are going to have or if they don't already know, they're going to have a rude awakening that they're moved off of it now for a while. So it makes sense. It's smart. You're paring down to build back up. So it makes sense.
I think that what they most likely will do is, let's see how Fantastic Four does, because if Thunderbolts will probably have one last ride in the Avengers movies, and that'll be the end of them.
Probably. I think she'll stick around, but I don't know if the rest. Oh yeah,
who knows? This is, but again, it's a way to cut salaries. It's a way to cut.
Yeah. Ghost is gone.
Yeah, I think everybody's going to be gone at that point, because if you're not performing in business wise, if you're not performing. I don't care how popular you are. You're not performing. You're not bringing in money. That's it. Yeah. So I think that they're probably that's going to be their last run. And then Fantastic Four will be like, okay, let's see. If Fantastic Four does the numbers that we want, then it could be a Fantastic Four / X-Men universe.
Well, I mean, there were stories already over the weekend that they're going to move Pedro into the lead of the Avengers, that he is going to be the leader of the Avengers. And a lot of people are flipping out about that. And we'll see if that's the way.
Flipping out about that, though? Why are they flipping out about that? Because
I don't know, man.
Because they're taking away from Mackie. Is that why?
No, not at all. I think it's more a matter of they don't want him to be they don't like Pedro. Some people don't like Pedro as Reed Richards. They don't think he's the right casting choice. So to make him the lead of the Avengers, people are frustrated by it. I think it's ridiculous. He's an incredible actor, but people have their ideas of who they want. They're John Krasinski fantasies.
That's over and done with. Let's see how the movie is first, everybody.
Tracking well.
I want to see the movie tonight, and I'm going to say, look. One of two things in my out of the theater reaction.
Okay. Pedro
was just being Pedro, and I couldn't say what's the difference between him or Joel or someone from one of the other movies he's done, or I'm going to go, this was the right choice. They changed it up a bit. They got a guy who is a big star right now, and they made this work. And if that is the case, if he leads and brings that kind of star charisma that he clearly has, Marvel needs that right now. They don't have a big all-star right now. They don't have a big, huge all-star. So if Reed Richards, and if I'm liking his character, if he's the guy that is going to be the lead, and it makes sense from the story they're telling from Fantastic Four leading into this, don't just say, I don't like Pedro. It's like, you got to watch the show first. If you can say like, he's overused and he wasn't even any good in it, why are they leading with this guy? Fair, but you haven't seen the movie yet. Yeah. So that's where I lead with it.
I agree, and people have been saying, and Jeff reported this on Hot Mic as well, that it's really Sue Storm who's leading this movie. So, but Reed will have his moments to lead within the film, but it's really Sue Storm's story. So we're going to see what Pedro's reaction is, or Reed Richards' role is in this movie, and how it's going to lead into what he's going to do with the Avengers, because I imagine they're going to make him the reason this whole thing happens with Galactus, and how is that going to carry over? But what you said earlier, I think, is a really important thing that people don't seem to want to say, in that they've never been able to replace RDJ or Chris Evans,
right?
As even keeping Hemsworth, keeping keeping Ruffalo. No one
turned Hemsworth into a goof.
Yeah, and Hemsworth, right, with that last one. Yeah. No one's been able to step into that void. None of the new cast members, I don't care how much you love them, they haven't overall been able to step into that void. That's why they brought RDJ back.
Right. Star-Lord could have done it, but he was the lead of his own movie. He was the lead of his own movie, and he wasn't the lead of the MCU. He was lead of Guardians 3, and he had a great story to tell and close out. But Star-Lord had the potential. But that wasn't the story they were telling with him. There's no one really right now. And look, as much as I like Sam, and as much as I like Anthony Mackie, it hasn't worked.
No.
It just hasn't worked.
He hasn't gotten over like he should.
It's
You
not-
know, watch wrestling. We know when people get over, and
Yeah.
we know when they don't.
It's like, okay, we're gonna put the strap on Anthony Mackie. It's like, all right, let's see. He's gonna be the champ. And it's like he won the title, but nobody really wants to see him defend it.
He's the Jey Uso. When he's in the building, people love it. But once he has the belt, it kind of dissipates. Yeah.
We want to see him in the Federation.
Right.
We don't want him to get cut. We just don't want him as champ. That's what it is. That's ultimately what it is. And it happens.
That happens.
And it's saying that like Bucky,
No.
Bucky's got too many demons in his, and Bucky doesn't seem like he wants to do that. Same thing. All the Thunderbolts have too many demons behind them. It's like, and I don't know. So
Too many demons.
Figure
your shit out.
Yeah, figure it out. Anyway, what do you guys make of all the comments of Kevin Feige and everything he said? Put your thoughts in there. Let us know.